and I bought it, and she didn't love it. It's very nice. These are the mother of couples watches.
You've got a good eye for like watches, especially in terms of like investment.
In here, what used to be my watch box is now 2/3 full of Sarah stuff. Why is that? Because if her watches don't go in here, they go on the sink, they go on the table, they go on her bedside table to protect her stuff. I've given her 2/3 of my life.
Which is rather inconvenient, like, because I have to take it out of the box every time I want to wear it. I'd much prefer it just like on my dressing table and just pick it up and put it on. Yeah, I didn't ask for that watch box, but thank you very much. I'm glad to know that my watches are tucked away and that puts me off from wearing them.
Right, today we're talking about couples watches. I think we should start with our first set of watches that we didn't buy together, but we accumulated over time and are our first couples watches.
And it so happens that we bought each other's one for each other. Like, I bought yours and you bought mine. So the first one we're going to talk about is the Omega Seamaster Planet Ocean.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Okay.
Dun, 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 dun,
Is this James Bond's one?
Dun, dun. It was back in 2013. And then he has another one in 2015 and another one in 2022 in No Time to Die.
Just to refresh everyone's memory, I'm sure you've seen these two watches in our watch sharings before. This one is one of the first watches that I've ever bought for Jason. I went and got it by myself as a surprise for him, and he's not a guy to like surprises, and I'm telling you. So when I gifted this to him, he was like a bit shocked that I spent so much money on a
I felt
watch.
a bit uneasy she spent so much money on me.
And on one that he could not pick himself. I think the whole point of him being a little bit uneasy about it was he was not allowed to go pick it out himself.
I didn't go shopping with her, that's why.
Yes.
She should have taken me.
Yes. But then through time, he fell in love with the watch.
It's very nice.
It's such a sturdy watch.
And it's not 10 a penny, so you don't go out and you don't clash watches with a million other people. So it's a very good quality watch. It's beautiful.
And the grey colour is super unique. That's why I bought it. That was one of the selling points.
It's not uncommon, but it's not common to the point where everyone's using it like an iPhone. So I love it. There's another variation where the bezel is orange. That's, I think, a slightly more classic Planet Ocean, but I prefer the slightly more conservative grey on black. It's lovely.
He loved it so much that a couple of years later,
One Christmas, I was
one
thinking,
Christmas, yeah, I think so. Yeah.
what should I get for Sarah? And I went around shopping. I thought, let's get her a Planet Ocean. And there was the choice of stainless steel, white dial with a white bezel, or that one. And I tried both watches. What I did was I tried the 42mm variation. I thought, let's see what it looks like. Wow, I completely fell in love with it. The gold with the black dial, it was bloody gorgeous. So I thought, let's try the smaller size, because 42 back then, it kind of fit my wrist. So if it fits on my wrist, it definitely won't fit on her wrist. So I was talking to the lady in the shop, and she tried it and it fit perfectly. And I thought, that's the one I'm gonna get. And I bought it and she didn't love it.
Just to get back at him. No, like I didn't love it because it looked slightly masculine. But again, like I think this is the magic with Omega. The more you wear it, the more you fall in love with it. These days, it's one of my favorite watches. Yeah.
I think Omega, amongst all the dive watches, were one of the first to use rose gold with a black dial, and it's bloody beautiful. And then you have all the other brands chasing afterwards with the same kind of color combination, but she was wearing it way before anyone else.
For me, when you talk about a his and hers watch, it doesn't really necessarily have to be exactly the same. The female version is just a smaller one of the male version, but it's the same metal, same face. I think you can still kind of have your own personality in the watch. Like, this is definitely very me. Like, it goes with a lot of my jewelry and accessories.
It's a very handsome looking watch.
Yeah. So it doesn't need to be exactly looking like your other half's watch.
Jumping from the oldest couples watches we have, we now have this year's.
Most recent.
And I feel a bit bad actually because I bought you this one thinking, it does look very, very nice. Your version is the heavier one and mine's the titanium one. So she can do the workout. So yeah, but it's a very handsome watch. Like the Omega, it's rose gold.
This was my first impression of this watch. First of all, why are you buying me a G-Shock? I wore that when I was like 13. Then I was like, a digital watch. I haven't had a digital watch in a long time.
They're so accurate though.
They are, and so is your iPhone. But once I put it on, the color of this watch is actually super chic and it's really funky. I wore it with like just a really casual tee and a pair of like leather pants and it was very stylish. It didn't look too overdressed. It's slightly more bling than your regular sports watch. Yeah.
So practical, man. Strictly speaking, they're not divers watches, but they're 200 meters water resistant. They're shock proof, very rigid. You can throw them around. And they look exactly how they looked when I first got my G-Shock when I was 10 years old, 30 years ago.
I had a baby G.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to work so hard to get my baby G. Like I had to get good grades for like a whole freaking year. So my parents would get me a baby G.
And they're so practical. Look, you've got the time here, and you press it. World time, I think we've got 5 of those. Alarm, I think 5 of those too. A stopwatch, a countdown. What more could you want, man?
I actually won't utilize all the functions. But it's great to have them, but it's good to know that I can wear this and not have to worry about bashing my watch around, especially when I'm with the kids. It's a good watch to wear when I'm just out and about.
I feel bad that it's a bit heavy though.
Not really. It doesn't feel that heavy. It's heavy compared to your one, but yeah, not that heavy. I like the retro feel to it.
It's timeless.
Yeah.
We talk about timeless watches. Joe Denter, who designed the Royal Oak and the Nautilus, and that design has lasted from the 70s up till now, 2022. And this watch, likewise. It's beautiful. For stuff that you can actually buy right now, brand new, I think these are the mother of couples watches. Besides the Nautilus, the 5711 and the 3800, both Nautilus, but you can't get them as a set like that, brand new. So if you walked in and you could buy yourself a pair of Royal Oaks, not easy. I reckon these two are 40, or currently it's a 41 and a 37mm would be the perfect couples watches.
Yeah. This 37 is really, really beautiful, even on such a petite wrist of mine. Like I have a very small wrist, but it fits so well. We talk about the mother of couple watches. Like a lot of people would say Rolexes, you know?
Yes.
A lot of my friends got like Rolexes as wedding presents from like aunties, uncles, relatives, mum and dads. Rolex is a typical one that people like to get because they have so many different sizes and so many different metals.
Rolexes used to be very old school. So Chinese people would rush out and get a Rolex for your mum and dad. But you know what, in recent years, I reckon about not even 10 years. So with the booming of social media, you see a lot of soccer stars, football stars, sorry about that, football, with their feet. Pop stars, rappers, movie stars all wear these lovely watches, obviously Rolex included, but all of a sudden the Nautilus, the Royal Oak, they're so hard to get and they're so popular. It was no longer a one-horse race with Rolex. It was, you had the choice of PP, AP, Omega.
There's also like a sense of exclusivity as well because they make it so hard to get. So if you get one, you're like, oh yeah, I got one. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Especially in the past 2-3 years.
So these watches, I got this one way back in 2012. I'm not sure if I've told you. Back then, it had just been discontinued. So from 40mm, it then turned into a 41mm, which I tried. It didn't fit my wrist. It's not about liking or not liking, it's about whether or not it fits your wrist, and it didn't fit my wrist. So I looked for the longest time.
It's like a needle in a haystack. Like you got a discontinued watch that was brand new. Yeah, so it was really hard to get. I think he looked for a good 6 months.
And the shop I got it from, they sourced it from Italy, I think. So I got it and I was super chuffed.
Yeah.
Super chuffed.
Yeah, so I recently shared my story on why and how I got my AP. So if you want to watch that, you can watch our previous watch sharing. As I was saying before, you can have exactly the same watch but different metals, and it could still be a couple's watch. And even though we have this couple's watch, we hardly ever wear it together. So the whole couple's watch thing, I think, is just a massive gimmick. Or maybe I'm just the copycat wife. You've got a good eye for like watches, especially in terms of like investment.
Chance. I used to only buy simple 3-hand watches, a simple hour, minute and second hand. And that's how I bought my first set of watches. I had the Grand Seiko, I bought the Royal Oak, and then I longed and waited for the Nautilus for years. And then in recent years that's changed, so you know, I'm getting chronographs, I'm getting stuff that's more complicated and not quite so clean on the dial. It's a learning curve.
I'm not there yet, so I'll just copy you. I'll just like follow you. Whatever you get, I'll just be like, okay, 5 years later I'll get it.
Okay. What about our kids' schooling?
Yeah, that's why I haven't gotten anything for so long.
I got you a Casio.
Yeah, you got me a Casio.